All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be jumping into it. Game number 1 between these two players as we spawn up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Prion Terraces, give it up for the European himself, Beastyqt.
And on the other side of things, it is representing Exile 5, Neuro. Speaking of
cool.
X5, right?
Yeah, pretty cool to see Prion Terraces game number 1 though, but I think we're already seeing that Beastyqt doesn't feel like it's as cool.
Oh no, or maybe he has this kind of build on purpose. Obviously, it's been pretty popular on this map, 3 Racks Reaper. So I feel like Zerg players are a bit more accustomed to dealing with it, but we always see different ways to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, when you go for the 3x Reaper, you're spending a lot of that gas, and that's why you have to go for this fast second refinery. But you do eventually end up getting enough minerals to build that command center during all the aggression. So it can actually be sort of difficult for, I think, some Zerg players to actually do that balancing tightrope walk of, oh, well, I need to make enough workers that I don't fall behind when they throw it on their expansion, but I also need to make enough units to not take too much damage from the Reapers themselves.
Yes. All right, well, here comes the first Reaper. Should seem pretty normal here to Neuro. And I think the best way to deal with it is to get a lot of queens, hope for the surround, especially if you're playing against somebody that is crossover. But a lot of people will also go for roaches and ravagers right off the bat. But he hasn't identified it yet, and I think this is the point where we will see what his response is going to be.
Ooh. Nice, almost nice job from Beastyqt. He loses one of the Reapers, and that's a really big deal because this is a build that revolves around getting a critical mass of Reapers. You want it to sort of spiral out of control. You want it to snowball by keeping them alive. So losing one of those Reapers already going to hurt Beastyqt a little bit.
Yeah, and he bumped it into his own Reaper with the bomb, so that was a bit of a misstep there from Beastyqt.
Yeah,
Queens are in production from the bottom hatchery here at the natural.
Well, yeah, a couple of Zerglings are getting out, but Zergling speed is about to finish up, and that is a really big moment for Neuro. He did not cut Zergling speed. He did not delay it at all, and now suddenly he may be able to get a nice little surround on these Reapers. No, doesn't quite have the Zergling count where he feels comfortable doing it. He's going for a Roachborn and a ton of Zerglings behind this as well.
Yeah, that is so many Zerglings, and this was a bit of an issue when you made too many Zerglings on this map back before when the gold wasn't at the natural. So working off of a lower drone count and trying the style is going to be more favorable nowadays than it was before.
Oh,
Still tough, man.
Oh man, these Reaper grenades are actually really scary because they'll do a lot of damage to that giant Zergling clump. And you know, if you end up taking a little bit too much damage, yeah, it doesn't matter the first one, the second one, the third one, but the fourth one, the fifth one, when it starts hitting all of your Zerglings, that's when suddenly you're like, wait a second, I'm actually gonna lose my Zerglings to these Reaper grenades.
And you don't want that to happen. It's like one of the worst feelings when you get it and all of a sudden everything just blows up. And usually that's the moment when the Reapers get into your base, start getting the economic damage that they've been desperately trying to do the whole time. But I think he's done a pretty damn good job, Neuro. He's up to 33 workers, and Beastyqt, he's retained a lot of his Reapers too, so it's not like he slacked on his control either.
Yeah, but with the Zerglings starting to get taken out, it's going to be up to the Roaches that are popping out and try and get some damage done. This number of Reapers, though, can handle small numbers of Roaches. In fact, he's going to be able to start doing some serious damage to these Roaches, although he's going to have to back out because his Roaches do have him sort of pinned.
Yeah, getting them against the wall, very important to do. Adding a few Ravagers into it, too, allows you to trade in a really nice way because if they go in for the shot, you can still get the Ravager shot. Not the corrosive bomb, but just its actual attack. So Roaches can't really. If you control perfectly with Reapers, you should never get hit by Roaches. But
well, this is kind of weird though. Neuro's getting picked apart just by these Reapers moving in. Oh, but the Queens are there to ambush these Reapers, or the Reapers are about to ambush the Queens. The Queens are all starting to fall. Just the Reapers.
Yep, that was 2 Queens there that did fall.
Oh,
and, they're surrounded. This is a real ambush.
Oh yeah, the Roaches can hit up on that high ground, but the Reapers find that there's not enough units on the up on the top ground, and now they come back in. Now they're gonna start being able to pick off some of these drones.
Yep, and this is all behind double upgrades at home. No, well, when I say double upgrades, I keep meaning combat shield and
Combat shield and stim. Yeah, that is a double upgrade technically. You're not wrong.
But that's what he's doing behind it all. Like, he's not fully focused on that and loses sight of everything else. He's mining at the natural, already saturated, and he has a pretty decent amount of production here.
Oh, but Neuro is kind of sick of everything that's been going on so far. He is mining off of the double gold right now, so even though he's sitting on 33 workers, he is about to go ham with a giant flood of Zerglings that are also coming out. He has some Ravagers. He's ready to bust on down that front. The Marine count is actually pretty decent, but he's got to be careful about these Corrosive Biles.
Oh, yeah, that's not enough, I don't think. With the Roaches to buffer, these Marines are going to have to fall back to the bunker, but here come the Ravagers. Now they're going to be able to get some good Corrosive Biles right on the bunker.
Yep, bunker goes down very, very quickly, but the Marines and Marauders are chasing back these Roaches and Ravagers. There's no Medivacs to heal up these units, so once they stim, the damage is going to be done until the first 2 Medivacs pop out, which are going to be popping out soon.
Yeah, they will be popping out soon. He will be able to do some drop play if he decides to do that, but he survives, you know? I think he really played it to the map, didn't slack on his production. A lot of the times, people don't make enough barracks here. 1, to hold it, and 2, to actually make enough units to support the economy that you do have with that gold.
Over aggressive command center trying to land while there's still a Zerg army right outside his front door. But that Zerg army is going to try and charge up right now. Neuro manages to maybe make it past this supply depot. The Roaches are going to be hitting some of their own Zerglings, but here we go. Beastyqt has more than enough. He's chasing down these Ravagers one by one. This is the momentum that Beastyqt needed to actually take a huge lead in this game.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to be able to secure his third base, immediately load up into the medevac, and Neuro lost pretty much his whole army there. He's only on 42 drones to the 43 here of Beastyqt. And yeah, that was almost supposed to be a push that was going to kill quite a few SCVs, maybe bust up into the main. But no, it did not. Beastyqt really held that in awesome fashion, I would say.
Yeah, it's not over just yet, though, as the Zerglings are going to be able to catch these drops and force this back for a little bit at least. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to remember that Neuro still has double gold expansion. So even if he's on a lower work account, Beastyqt didn't take a gold expansion. So Neuro may have a little bit more time to work with.
Yeah, I think he should be able to continue to make Roach Ravager. But what I like is that he's making a lot of Lings, and nice defense with the siege tank of Beastyqt, but it's still really going to be annoying if he's not on top of that. Ling run bys could be pretty effective.
Yeah, Liver is sieging up, but outside of range of these Roaches.
Yep, and there's a double drop inside of the main here of Neuro. So while all this is happening, Neuro is losing absolutely everything as he tries to transition into the Spire. And this is really good from Beasty. I think he's just going to be able to pick Neuro apart here.
Yeah.
15 drones remain.
Yeah, I think when you lose the layer tech and you're going to even lose one of your upgrades finishing up, you lose a lot of your workers over at that natural expansion. There's not a whole lot left over for Neuro. As you were saying, 26 drones are all that's really left over at the end of the day. And yeah, he's going to have 3 bases because one of the bases got taken out, but
that was the layer, by the way, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, what do you really do at this point? Your Spire's going to be finishing up, but you got 0 gas to really make anything with.
Yeah, it just caught him off guard. That double drop was brutal. And Neuro committed to an attack that didn't end up doing anything here. Beastyqt's defense was a little bit too solid. And I think from here on out, Beastyqt just, you know, gets his upgrades, continues with the harass. He can take another base if he wanted to. But it may not even be necessary at this point if he does go for the killing blow.
Yep. There's a single awkward Marine sitting inside the main base of Neuro that is going to get picked off finally. But the Liberators are coming in over here at that gold expansion, shutting down a little bit of that mining. 3 worker kills on each of these guys, I believe. May actually be some kills from something else. Hard to tell. So many workers have gone down.
A lot has gone down here, Fair Dragon. So Beastyqt did indeed take that 4th base, getting it on that high ground.
Yeah, this is the final push over here from Neuro, but this is not going to work at all. The Ravagers, the Roaches, they're getting hunted down at this point, and I feel like that's got to be game. GG, or I should say, well done. WD from Neuro. Beastyqt going to be taking the game.
Well done indeed, Beastyqt. Wow. That was insane. That 3-Vax Reaper actually able to get into the main. You know, I thought that he got shut down, but when you retain the Reapers and you're not like, okay, they didn't do anything, I might as well just A-move them and hope that they do something. No, he kept them attacked at the right point, and was able to distract Neuro, get some drone kills, and then defend.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it. Beastyqt just sort of had control of the game the whole way through. The only time that Neuro was really able to get really aggressive was when he looked like he may have been able to push in. He shut down that bunker. It didn't seem like Beastyqt had enough units. But at the end of the day, he wasn't just barely wasn't quite able to bust on through, I think, that little choke point. And when he wasn't able to bust through the choke point, Beastyqt got up a couple more units. And after that, I think Neuro just overstayed his welcome, lost his entire army there. And I think after that, it sort of just was spiraling out of control.
Yeah, when you clean up a Zerg army with enough units to do a double drop and still have stuff at home and take a third, that's when things are not looking too good for the Zerg. So
yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop to a short little break before our next game. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are hopping back into it. We're spawning over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, a little bit into the game. We have the green Terran player setting up 1-0. Give it up for Beastyqt.
And his opponent down by 1. He needs your energy. In the top right corner of Leverlac Crest, it is Exile 5's Neuro.
Looks like Neuro did manage to say, Leverlac Crest is love. Leverlac Crest is the path to enlightenment. Beastyqt was like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's go Leverlac Crest.
I've always wanted to be enlightened. Sweet.
For sure, but...
And at the beginning of that last game, he did end up saying, for great chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just showing some love to the sponsors. Chairs4Gaming, of course.
Yep. But we do have Reaper coming on in over here for Beastyqt. Gonna get a little bit aggressive over here. Drone pulls are not gonna quite catch the Reaper, but Beastyqt gets a nice little scout out, sees timing of the spawning pool, sees that there is in fact a gas geyser. There's like this weird little group of Zerg players that like to go gasless in ZVT these days, which I don't know how much I like, but it's a thing that's been happening occasionally.
There's an Overlord getting taken out in the left side of the map here, and that is the lone scouting Overlord for the mid game.
Ooh. That's pretty rough, man. That's not a place you want to be.
So at least he knows where he spawned, though.
Yeah, you got some scouting information off of it. But those Zerglings may need to do a little bit more scouting on their own. I mean, I like the fact that Neuro's scouting around for potential proxies or anything. I mean, he's not playing versus rough or anything, but still important to scout for.
Yeah, I would say so. Beastyqt is quite aggressive, but he's very, I still feel like he's very macro oriented.
Oh, wow! Well done. Using those drones as a bit of walling. I'm not even sure if the drone got the kill or the queen. Yeah, it was the queen in the end. Cool. That kill stealer.
Stealing the shine for the drones. They're the true heroes of that one, but I do believe that Beastyqt did see that Roach Warren, so he knows that something could be afoot. And already 16 lings in production, and I believe there were some roaches that were rallied across. Yep. Love this patrolling marine by Beastyqt, though.
Oh, a really fast lair tech coming up behind this as well for Neuro and drone. So I wonder if this is one of those situations where he was looking to get really aggressive, and he is going to do a little bit of aggression with all these Zerglings and roaches. Maybe just trying to deny a fast third from Beastyqt. But I wonder if this is like a reactionary transition where he's now going to try and fake additional aggression when he's not really committing that much more to it.
Yeah, this is something that Beastyqt identified incredibly early. So if he was able to get up there, then all of a sudden that bunker doesn't do anything. But this is a perfect response out of Beastyqt, and even if it was part of his build anyway, it is going to pretty much shut it down with the tank evac.
Well, we do have +1 missile attacks coming out for Neuro, so it seems like he's probably just going to stick around on those roaches for his lair tech. I was thinking maybe he's going to transition this out into something weird, but he is only now grabbing that third gas geyser, not really taking the fourth, so not doing any heavier tech transitions, just getting up that roach speed. But what does he plan to do with this? Like, his third expansion is going to be so late, it's just now coming down. I'm not really sure what to make of it.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was going to be setting up for a Netis play, but maybe when he realized that the medevac in the tank was already out for Beastyqt, might not have been the best idea. So he's just going to kind of cut his losses and not throw away his complete army. Sit back for a bit and try to just macro it out. It's going to be an uphill battle, though, I think. He doesn't have an answer, really, to these siege tanks that are just flying around.
Yeah, gonna maybe be able to pick off a roach here or there, a couple of Zerglings, maybe even some of the drones if they try and transfer that third expansion a little bit too early. But, you know, Neuro, he still has an opportunity to maybe try and put himself in a better position. I would, you know, I'm always a little bit torn when I see Zerg players have their entire army at home to try and deal with this. I understand that you need to have a lot of units split up in a lot of locations, but I almost kind of feel like, you know, is having this many roaches at home gonna help you defend any more than having like half of that number?
Yeah, it's really tough though because the tanks can pretty much go uncontested. I think on a map like Levelac where you can go to the third base and then into the main, it almost feels a bit necessary.
Yeah,
but I do like the fact that he's spreading the creep with his overlords. You know,
that is
not really
cute.
fond of the fact that there's not a single creep tumor on the map though.
Yeah. I mean, that would definitely be a nice kind of adjustment if you also got some of that creep tumor, creep spreading going. But yeah, like you're saying, just having the overlords always defaulting to dropping creep, I think is so nice.
It is, but I don't know if this is a place he can attack from.
Well, I don't even.
He's gonna try to do it from two fronts. You don't know if he has enough units to do that.
I kind of feel like Neuro's just trying to deny a third expansion from Beastyqt, but Beastyqt hasn't thrown down a third, and I don't think he's looking to go for one. I think he's looking to go for a really big push out once he finishes up +1/+1 combat shields and stim.
Yeah, you might actually be right here, and it's a stylistic choice indeed, and if he does mine out in the main, he can always float it to that third location pretty easily. So perhaps he'll go for this attack. I think he has a perfect unit composition that will deal with straight up roach, but with some of these Ravagers being added, I think Beastyqt, I don't know, it's just going to be up to the micro, and I know that he's playing from Europe, so
yeah, Beastyqt is doing a pretty good job with it so far, at least. Not really taking too many losses on those siege tanks. They're not even really taking too much damage, but getting some good damage on. Oh, the Marines, though, engaging straight up against roaches. I don't know how much I like this with the siege tanks making it up, though. That should make it really one-sided for Beastyqt.
Yeah, and he had +1/+1. Neuro only had +1 on his roaches, and the corrosive bios, they went where the Marines were, not where the tanks landed. So they were able to just back up and let the tanks do their thing, as you said, when they landed. But I don't even know how Beastyqt is. His supply is growing so rapidly because Neuro never really got enough economy at his third. But the hug of these Marines, it's able to take out so many of these roaches and Ravagers.
Yeah,
he's gonna make it work. Yeah, wow.
I mean,
2 base down.
That was so much of Neuro's army now. He's sitting down about 36 army supply, and I don't know how he's going to deal with this because his army supply is also just not cost-effective army supply. The Marines push on in. The Queen gets taken out. The siege tanks in very large numbers with a medevac for each one of them. Going to be pushing on forward, and there's no way that Neuro can engage into this many siege tanks.
Nope, and his back is against the wall. The hatchery here is under fire. The drones have nowhere to go. They could go to the main, but you don't want to mine from there. And now Beastyqt is looking like he's going to want to push for the win. I think this is a really strong push, and Neuro did not have the economy, especially with that later third and the aggressive opener, in order to actually deal with it.
Yeah, marvelous. GG gets called from Neuro, and Beastyqt is going to be taking game number 2, closing out the series.
Well done, Beastyqt. Showing the beastie of his name there. Was some cute play, I guess, but I mean, I don't think Neuro found that cute. Like,
no, I don't think he did. But you know, Neuro's a very, I think, as you said before, thoughtful and very rational kind of guy. So I'm sure he will be able to look at his losses and, you know, learn something from them. Of course, that's the cool thing about Neuro is he's never gonna take losses as a, oh man, well, you know, that Terran race is so imbo, whatever, like, let me just queue up again, like, maybe I won't be so unlucky as to face off as a Terran player next time. It's gonna be like, no, you know, I think I could probably learn something, like, maybe sometimes it'll still sting, of course, but hey, he's gonna get better in the end from it.
Yes, And that is a good approach to have in a game like StarCraft because it can be so difficult to actually step back, right, and have that kind of perspective. I know it's very frustrating, especially being a 1v1 game, asymmetrical at the same time. So,
No.
um,
But that is going to mean that Beastyqt moves on to the next round to face off versus the winner of Peely versus Stylish. I mean, no offense to Stylish. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Wardy did. I was about to say, I thought that for a second. Wardy ended up losing to La Frica, and I'm like, you know what, Wardy? He's a fellow caster. I got to root for him. And did end up winning there, but lost to Peely.
yeah. So yeah, I think we have pretty much our whole quarterfinals ready to go too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty
I know
much.
We'll hold both
That was
semifinal matches, but the quarterfinals should go.
That was a quarterfinal match, and now Beastyqt going to be sitting in the semifinals to face off versus the winner of Peely versus Stylish, which I think a lot of people are anticipating is going to be Peely.
Yeah, I think he's the favorite there. I'm not exactly sure who Stylish is. If it's like a different name there, or
that is a very good question. I see Cham out of game though, and he's supposed to be playing versus PandaB or me. So either that series is done or they are about to start, and that might bode well for us if we can jump into that ZVZ, maybe.
Yep, it looks like they're ready to do it.
Okay.
Like I haven't cast enough ZVZs today, right?
Yeah, I know,
kidding.
right? Well, don't worry. That just means you're a ZVZ expert now.
Indeed. The cool thing is that I took for granted is like it's a Chinese restream, so since we don't have a clean feed, we don't get game sounds.
Oh,
so casting
I heard
SC2
about
with
that.
game sounds, I'm like, oh, music to my ears.
All right, sick. We're going into Cham versus PandaB. You know, I actually really love Cham because that kid is so good about just always, like, whenever there's something available for him to sign up for, he's just like, yeah, man, I'm totally in for it. Like, all I have to do is message him. He gets so excited about it. He's like, oh, thank you so much for, like, telling me about it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sign up. Like, I'm cleared my schedule for this. I'm like, dude, you're awesome, man. You're awesome. You're dedicated.
Yeah. Hailing from Mexico.
One of the
representing pretty right. He's been all right, you know, been doing a bit better, I think, recently. Even Scarlett gave him a shout out saying, I don't know why I'm winning these ZVTs. I've just been doing Cham builds. So I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Nice little shit.
Cham is also, by the way, for those who don't know, a fairly aggressive player. He likes to play on the more cheesy / aggressive side of things, especially in ZVZ. I think that's where I see him be very, very aggressive. But I will also say that, you know, he's definitely one of the top Mexican players. I think you were saying, like, I would still say that he's like top 3 Mexican players. I kind of would still rank him behind Jim Rising and, of course, Major, but everyone's behind Major in Mexico, so
yeah.
It's like whatever.
Yeah, Major's like way up there, and then of course you do get Cham and Jim Rising also representing. But where are the Protoss, right? Like, where the Mexican Protoss representation?
That's a good question, man. Yeah, we got good Zerg representation. We do not have like any Protoss whatsoever in Mexico.
All right, I got the invite, so we should be starting this very shortly, guys. I'm gonna confirm that it is game 1. Game 1.
Yep, that's a good idea. I'm pretty sure it's still game 1 because usually players are really quick about jumping into the next series or like next game. Then they would not have taken like a solid 4 or 5 minutes to hop into game number 2. Usually.
Okay.
And cool. They even gave us like the next the full map order. So it looks like it's going to be Dusk Towers, Prion Terraces, followed by Ruins of Saros for game number 3. If we end up making it there, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be hopping onto Dusk Towers for game number 1. We'll see you guys there.